recordings. Thank you.
Talks and tells you.
It tells me about that. We are now recording.
Do you need me to shut off my mic?
Eventually.
Okay.
So people see me better.
So I went and I upgraded my Zoom, so I didn't need you to transfer it, but you might have to show me how to get it on YouTube.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Did you
you're
get the
gonna record it
message
on
from Kansas
on
about
right there. Okay, yeah,
updating their
It's
Zoom?
recording
I
to
can't
cloud
figure out
right
how
now.
yeah. So
I haven't even
it'll
been
take
using
like
them,
a
but
couple of hours to process,
Of course it
I
will.
haven't.
and then you can upload.
I don't even. I don't know. I can figure out how to get into my own. Get into my own.
All right. We're still getting set up. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to switch the camera so we can see everybody. All right. Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Greater Fredericksburg chapter of the American Recorder Society. It's so good to be here and have you all here. And we're just going to go around and introduce ourselves quickly because we've got new people and people we haven't seen for over a year. So, Arlene, can we start with you?
Hi, I'm Arlene McKenzie.
Do you have a recorder that you specialize in, or are you working on them all?
Soprano, but I do have an alto and a tenor now. So.
All right.
See one day.
There you go. Next up.
Hi, I'm Cassie. I am used to soprano, but I am learning the alto now. So.
Fantastic. Next up.
Hi, I'm Ben, and I play the alto.
Hi, Ben, playing the alto. Ben is new.
Justin. I think I'm equally capable in all of them, for better or for worse.
Excellent. We have another multiplayer. Hi, Justin. Welcome.
I'm Jared. I played the tenor recorder sometimes.
Sometimes I just feel like a tenor. It's like I feel like a nut, and sometimes I don't. All right.
Hi, I'm Kate. I usually play the soprano, but I've taught it a bit with the rest of them.
All right. Another multiplayer and
Hi, I'm Tony. I've done them all, but I'm playing alto today.
playing alto and our fearless conductor.
I play the time.
And here joining us via our Zoom is Cindy. She's working on alto from Wisconsin, right?
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to turn this back around. As we get started with our new season, I have posted what we're going to be theoretically doing online. We're going to try to do as much as we can, as safely as we can in person. And when the weather gets too bad, we'll go online and do what we were doing last year with our online programs. Some of them worked pretty well, some of them not so much. What else am I going to say? Well, some of our music today was purchased with a donation by Vicky, who couldn't be online with us today. So if you ever see Vicky again, say thank you. And we are a chapter of the American Recorder Society, but we don't charge dues. So if you're not a member of the American Recorder Society, I highly recommend you go and join. It's not expensive. They've got great resources, including their new play along library, which yours truly did contribute to. So we have play alongs that are for free, but go join the American Recorder Society and you get more resources available to you. And I guess we are just gonna hop into it and play. And our sponsor who's our sponsor? You had Louisa. Oh, you turned her loose. Okay. Our sponsor for this meeting is Louisa, who's hiding behind Jarrett right now. Let's see. All right. Yep, there she is. That's Caroline. Oh, never mind.
She'll make it.
All right. So let me get you into frame, Jim. Where are you going to stand?
As long as everyone can see me. All you need me for is the first downbeat, right? I only need you for beat 3 of every third measure.
Oh,
Green, yeah. You did.
there we There we go. How do I make this bigger? Oh,
Don't worry about it.
okay,
I think it's the gallery view.
as long as they can see Jim, we're good to go. All right.
Okay, so can you see the baton on the camera?
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
cool. All right, so what are we starting with? The autumn?
Autumn movement 1.
Okay. Has anybody played any of this? The original or the
Played it once at home so far.
Nice. Once we get into it, it'll be familiar. We won't take it too fast.
Is that the one in 4/4 or 3/4?
It's
It's 4/4.
Uh-oh.
It should say
That's not the-
autumn first move.
Oh, okay. That's good because that's not what I was sure.
Oh, the one at 4/4, is that what you just said?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, can you explain what a descant recorder is?
A descant is a soprano recorder. It has multiple names. Treble is also the alto recorder.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
All right, who's playing what? So we have enough of everything.
Soprano.
Soprano,
Where are my
alto,
altos?
Descant.
bass.
Raise your hand, alto. Tenors. Oh, perfect. 2 tenors. 3 tenors, 2.
What you playing, Emily? Soprano. So
Stereo soprano.
2. And I'll play tenor 2.
Who's playing the piano?
Ah, nice try.
I have a piano part in my school. Take a little under tempo for now, just because we're going through the first one. All right. I'll give you a measure for nothing. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oops.
So,
Oh.
so the play along that she put up on YouTube.
I made a play along of this for both our YouTube and our Rumble, and I decided to repeat it so that I had more than just like a minute 40 on video. So I did repeat it, but we don't need to repeat it.
So we will do the poker around time.
So these pieces from Vivaldi's Four Seasons are technically concertos. They're concerti grossi, which means that we might have one soloist or multiple soloists set against a larger group. And clearly we are not playing the entire concerto here. We're basically just playing the main tutti theme. So that's all we've got. Otherwise we have to then all learn our concerto parts. If anybody would like to switch parts for another read through, we like to have an opportunity for people to play as many instruments as they'd like to work on. What part are you going to play?
Soprano.
You're going to switch to
The
soprano?
only other thing.
Okay, then I'll stay on tenor.
Does that only leave 1 tenor?
That's me, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
you switch to
I'm on
tenor? Okay.
They were really, really hard. So I have a question for like recorder technique. So when you see this arrangement has a lot of dynamic contrast. Like how do you deal with dynamic contrast?
So we can get some dynamics on the recorder. Oops. We can get some dynamics on the recorder, but the fiddle itself determines a lot of what we can and can't do. It requires a certain amount of air to speak completely. So we can kind of push the amount of air that we're putting through for a forte, and we can kind of back off a little bit, but your range is like this much. So a lot of times we might do dynamics by making fortes longer articulations and pianos shorter articulations. So we kind of like trick the system. You can also get into a whole world of alternate fingerings, which sound softer or sound louder, but then you mess with your intonation. So if you're trying to get a piano, you might think this time, oh, I'm going to play a little bit shorter. And if you're trying to get a forte, you might think, oh, I'm going to play a little bit longer so that the sound sustains a little longer. Can you still hear us? Yes. All right.
Okay, so we're switching parts. So just for my sopranos, what do we have? All right, altos. Okay, tenors.
Sorry.
All right, and basso. Okay, take it just a tiny bit faster. Here we go, a tiny bit faster. Oops.
There we go.
I wonder how they did it like back in the Renaissance. Very classical. Like, did they just play outside or did they not play outside?
We do.
What they do when it comes. All right, here we go. A little faster. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey,
Nice.
nice. Well, before we go to the second movement is brings up the topic that I'd like to talk to everybody about today. I do like to talk about a recordery topic whenever I get a chance. And today's topic is about breathing. So if you've looked at that second movement and saw all of the ties and the slowness, I bet some of you were thinking, oh boy, how am I going to get my breath to sustain this long? So full disclosure, I'm a musician, I'm a flutist, and I'm an asthmatic. And so I have heard just about everything a musician has to say about breathing. And unfortunately, a lot of it is incomplete or wrong. And I finally gotten to this point where I think I can start talking about breathing. As a teacher, students come up to me quite a lot and they say, oh, I can't breathe. I want to work on my breathing. I should be able to do 16 bars in one breath. And no, you should not be able to do 16 bars in one breath. All right. So I get a lot of questions about how to breathe. And I'm trying to find a way to talk about this coherently. I found that people's breathing problems tend to be in 3 areas. The first area is a mapping issue where they actually don't know where their anatomy is. And so they're using the wrong muscles at the wrong time to initiate breathing. The second problem that I've noticed is more of an internal physiological problem, which can be deduced through indirect methods, which we're not going to do today. And it's actually quite fascinating. We'll talk about that another time. And the third problem with breathing I've noticed is that people just have a psychological issue. They might be afraid or angry, and those issues interfere with breathing. So today we're going to talk about our mapping. We're going to talk about the physical aspects of breathing. All right. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, where is your diaphragm? Can you point on your torsos where your diaphragm is?
So here, isn't it?
Everybody point where you think your diaphragm is. Okay, so everybody's kind of pointing mid-abdomen. It's going to shock you to know this, that your diaphragm, find your nipples, it's right under your nipples.
Really?
Yes, it's very high and it slopes down a little bit in the back. So it's actually very high. Now, if you find your collarbones and you find this little divot in your collarbones, it kind of rests right there, that's the top of your lungs. You're actually touching your lungs right there. Your trachea is really only 4 inches long. So as a musician, being told how to breathe, I hear things like breathe into your belly, breathe into your abdomen, breathe with your diaphragm, but nobody ever bothered to tell me where any of these things work, right? So our diaphragm is actually quite high, and our lungs are actually quite high in the thoracic cavity. That's the first bit. The next bit is that how much does your diaphragm actually move when you breathe? Does anybody know? Does it move an inch, 3 inches, 6 inches? Do you know how much it moves? So when you breathe in, your diaphragm actually moves about 1.5 inches, and it moves 1.5 inches down and out. Okay, so it's very domed, and it doesn't, move an equal amount down in all directions because of its dome shape. Okay, so when you're breathing in, it's only moving a little bit. Now you feel the effects of the diaphragm. You don't feel the diaphragm itself, you feel the effects, and those effects are happening in the lower abdominal cavity because your diaphragm is so powerful, it pushes your guts down into the pelvic floor. And then the pelvic floor bounces your guts back up. This is actually a really important part to your digestion. If you stop your abdomen from moving while you're breathing, you can really upset your digestion. And a lot of our metabolism is related to our digestion. And maybe you've read those papers that say that most of your fat loss is through breathing. So if you're not breathing right, your metabolism gets screwed up too. It's very interesting. Now, in the body, when we're moving, most of the time we're moving from joints, right? Okay, where are we moving from with our lungs? Do we have joints, and where would they be? Anybody know? So the joints for the lungs, the ribs actually are in your back. So those are the joints that actually move. But when we're breathing a lot, we tend to feel the sternum being stretched at the cartilage here. That's actually not the part that needs to move the most. The part that needs to move the most is in your back. And sometimes when I have adult students, and maybe this has happened to you, I'll have an adult student come in and tell me that they've hurt their back. So if you hurt your back and you don't want to move your back because you're thinking, oh, if I move my back, I'm going to hurt myself again. What are you stopping when you breathe? You're stopping that motion in your back. So there are some exercises that I give people to do to make sure that they are breathing in their backs. And I usually have them lay over one of those big yoga balls. Just lay your body over it and breathe, and you feel your back go. I can promise you that all the work laying on the floor with a book on your stomach is going to do you nothing. I have done that. I can do this. Ready? I'm not breathing. I can move my stomach, and I'm not breathing. So what we really want to do is we want to make sure we get air in the back and that the rib muscles do this. If you want a really good animated description of all the muscles and the order that they fire off in when you breathe, there is a video by Jessica Wolf, and that's Wolf with an E at the end. called The Art of Breathing, and she goes through in animation and the order, which muscle goes first. Your abdominal wall is actually your last to fire off. Okay, so now we've kind of mapped out where our lungs are and what's supposed to be moving. The last thing that I want to address for today before we play this long piece and try to like think about how we're breathing is support. How many musicians have heard you got to support your sound? Oh, yeah. What the heck is support and where does it come from? So I've already told you that if you're tightening your abdominal muscles and you're stopping the organs from doing their excursion, that's no good. That's not good for breathing. Your support for your breath comes from the interplay of the diaphragm up here with the rib muscles off to the side. So the diaphragm comes out while the rib muscles control the reascent. Does that make sense? You've got this oppositional pull going on. It's not an oppositional pull, it's an oppositional push. So the diaphragm comes out while the rib muscles are coming in. So your support is actually coming from, especially these floating ribs, and they're kind of pushing on your diaphragm and controlling the ascent. So a lot of times people will say to me, and they have said to me, oh, if you want to improve your breathing and your breath control, just exercise more. There's some problems with that. You got to pick the right exercise that allows you to work on those rib muscles, working with the diaphragm. I think that's why swimming is so popular for people trying to work on their breath support, because when you swim, you have to do that controlled exhale. So that is our first talk about breathing. I will talk more about breathing over the course of this year, but let's just think about our anatomy. What's supposed to be moving? So the diaphragm moves first, the rib muscles move next. All of this stuff comes later. Okay, you don't have to focus on your abdomen if somebody's been telling you to do that. And see if you can feel some motion in your back. Now, if you have hurt your back in the past and you don't like the way that feels, don't push yourself. But, you know, if you can enjoy the sensation, please do. All right.
I think we have a question now, which is because apparently we've printed out different things. So
Which one is this?
This is the
is
handwritten
this the one?
one.
Oh,
The one that said at the top, Vivaldi, the Quattro Stagioni.
This is the one that we're working.
Adagio molto. Looks like chicken scratch.
Yeah. It's got lots and lots of low notes.
So this alto's read up the
sure.
octave.
No, the alto is as is.
Or
There-
rather
seen
the
everything.
alto play the soprano 3 then.
Alto could play soprano 3 up the octave. I actually played soprano 1 and 2 on sopraninos when I did the recording. So the sopranos 1 and 2 would fit really well if you had a sopranino, if you don't feel like playing the really high notes on a soprano. Soprano 3 could work as alto up if you want to do alto up. And who's playing what?
We need 3 soprano parts.
We need at least 3 people playing soprano parts.
I would have played soprano 1.
Soprano 1,
I'll do 3.
soprano 3, 2.
So is there not a tenor part then?
There's no tenor
Okay,
part.
I see.
Now, if you wanted to double the great bass part on tenor, you could do that too.
Oh,
Because it would fit, even though you'd have to read in bass clef. There was only one note I had to take up the octave on the bass. It was the low E. Okay, everybody pick a part. Is anybody playing alto?
So I know where to point.
Who's on alto? Who's on 2? You're on 2. You're on 1. You're on 3.
Mhm.
2, 3, 1.
I'm gonna be on 1.
Oh,
It's gonna be glorious.
So we've got altos, 3 altos, make it easy, and bass. The lone bass. Okay. Here we go. Relax, right? Relax breaths.
Yeah, breathe into your back. Think about where your lungs really are.
It's gonna be slow. Here we go. Give you a measure for nothing. 1, 2. All right.
So aside from trying to interpret all the chicken scratchings on the page, how many people had a slightly different experience of their breathing? Anybody? A little bit? Anything you can share with us? Feel your back?
Yes, but I had no idea how to hit some of the notes at that point because I was trying. So
Yeah.
A high A,
I'm-
like every time I played the A, like it didn't come out because I wasn't pushing in the same way I normally would, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, so sometimes, as you're figuring out what muscles should be firing off, you'll have to make an adjustment.
Which was with my thumb.
Which improves your
I wasn't gonna talk about
intonation.
my technique, but I guess.
All right. Shall we give this another go? I think I'm going to switch to the third soprano. Anybody want to switch parts? Are we all good?
Anybody want to play first? Okay, great. What were you playing? I'll play it on tenor then. Great.
Still leaves us with 2 altos.
So, on my way down. That's not that much. Let's see. Wasn't super cute.
But the C sharp you'll have to knee.
Oh, no. Okay, let me get my leg right.
Okay, so just to note that the first soprano and third soprano come in on the same measure.
Okay. Got it.
Everyone
on
else kind
soprano
of
three.
staggers, and then just hang on. If you get lost, I'll try to give you a nice big. I'll go third measure or something like that. All right. So how was that tempo? Was that agonizing or was it okay?
It was an okay agony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any slower and yeah.
And we're going to go into full scale revolt.
Okay. Here we go from the top. Once again. Ready for 1, 2, 3.
Yay. I find it funny that, here we're like celebrating autumn and we're having like Indian summer. It's like 90 degrees today. It's like, I was hoping for something a little cooler, but. Good. Did anybody have any questions about that or our topic for the day? Anything else about breathing that we can talk about today? I promise I will continue to talk about breathing. All right. So we can move on to that third movement. This one's really short, so I think we should repeat it. How you doing? Can you still hear us? All right. We're now moving to the third movement. It says autumn from the four seasons and moderato on top.
Oh, I printed on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Your 2 pages, it's in 3/4.
Moderato. It is really just the theme.
I think we're gonna be out.
You hear music? I don't know.
I think this one, but for
I can
some
share.
reason it's down. Sorry.
Who needs a, I've got all 4, well, I don't have the bass part, but I did print a tenor
Yeah, I have
There you go.
and an alto part.
Oh, I don't need it.
I don't.
just the score. And why don't you just hand me one of your parts?
Which one you need?
Just give me one. I'll play one. Oh,
I got both there.
okay. Great. Yeah, they were parts.
I could just kind of conduct 3/4 for 18, 16 parts. Oh, is it 29?
Yeah.
79.
I know.
Oh,
All those accidentals will be on
that's
me on
what
the
3,
outside.
yeah, that's, well, and I was trying to remember.
I haven't
what-
gotten that far yet.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what some of those were. It's like, whoa.
My phone heard me talking about our metabolism and it's trying to tell me to blast away 37 pounds of belly fat.
Oh,
That is not creepy at all. And it called me by name. That is really creepy.
That is bizarre.
Yeah.
you should tell a story about the Disney medley.
Oh, I will tell this story about my Disney medley. So, I was practicing for a concert and we were doing a medley of old school Disney tunes. Look, I'm over here. We were doing a medley of old school Disney tunes like Zippity Doo Dah and It's a Small World and all those old school Disney tunes. And I'm practicing, I think it was the Mickey Mouse March, which has a bunch of little fluty stuff, but like no melody, just lots of fluty stuff. And I go over to my email, I'm in my office, I go over to my email to check my email, and the banner across the top of my email tells me to book my Disney vacation. And I'm thinking, how on earth did that come up? And I wasn't even playing the melody, I was playing the little fluty parts. Book your Disney vacation. It's like, how do I turn this microphone off? That's my story.
Wow.
the NSA is listening and they want you to go to Disney, right? Boring.
Government, I can get from mine.
Exactly, right?
As long as they want me to vacation, I'm fine.
But with the flu.
That's right.
Mandatory vacations. Okay, so this is D.
The vacations will continue.
D7. That's right. Yeah, there we go. Okay, nice and easy.
Are we repeating?
Are we? Let's repeat. I don't repeat.
It's pretty short.
It's short and. All right, I'll give you a measure for another. And 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so those little leaps on soprano are a little harder than they look, aren't they? Did anybody want to switch? Oh, somebody lost piece music?
Bottom first movement. Anybody? Might have fallen out of my file.
Did anybody want to switch parts? I'm happy to take bass if you'd like to
All
play a
right.
different instrument there.
Sure, I'll
Nathan.
take that.
All right. Let you.
Well, I'll just switch her.
I know how. Okay, so who's playing the soprano? on this?
Ooh, we got 3, 4.
Oh,
Yay.
Well, soprano power. All right. So when we do this again, we can take it just a tiny bit faster. And on this figure, if there's any way we could snap that 16th just a little more.
Yeah, kind of like don't labor that high note too much.
Because if you do it too far the other way, it starts to sound like
I was just saying, I got Dominic the donkey from it. I mean, as a bassoonist, I know that, yeah.
Spend way too much time doing that.
Right.
Almost think of like it's a grace. Okay. All right. Once again from the top. I'll give you 2 measures just to get the feel. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. great.
If that doesn't usher in autumn, I don't know what does.
The girls like that one.
Oh yeah, they came by to hear that one. Like, that was a good song. We like that one. I thought that no celebration of autumn would be complete without something very melancholy. And to me, the Mendelssohn Song without words is about as melancholy as it gets. So I chose this one. It's very nice. It's got a little more meat for us to work on. Oh, thank you.
Right. So now this one, a little tricky. Maybe not. Not only does it start on half a measure, but the beats are eighth notes. Eighth note gets the beat.
Song without words. Pardon?
There's a umlaut.
I think so. Which means that they're also missing in my titles on YouTube and Rumble. Please don't stick the German police on me.
I feel like Jan Kirk needs to have like a either slash or like a.
Well, these are his files, so he didn't put anything on them. All right, who wants to play what?
Where are my sopranos at?
No, nope.
One soprano, two soprano, three soprano.
Okay. Let's say descant. Right? Who's playing the treble?
We only have one right now. I can play with two.
Liz, you want to play treble? No, her just terrible.
Her rhythm's bad too.
Okay, so treble, the alto, and everything. So our tenors. Okay, tenor and bass. Just one bass. Okay. Right. Yeah, it starts on. Okay. Let's see how we do. Here we go. Ready? So we'll do a full measure and then two beats. And you're in on three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
that one we could go through the individual parts. What do you all think? Let's do parts. So if you want to work on the soprano part, let's do the soprano part first.
I'll sit down in the 10 minutes. I haven't taken it out of the case.
What are you looking at? Oh, the high C.
Yeah, I just didn't know.
Yeah. Yep, it's pretty good. All right. Anybody playing soprano? Let's do the soprano line and see what we can figure out.
It didn't help that my music kept going around.
No, that doesn't help.
I'll take it. Yeah, that's yeah, good taking over this. All right, we'll simply just give 2 beats.
Yep.
All right, 2 beats in a row. So 1, 2, and here we go. 1, 2. So the 2 things you want to figure out that fingering that.
Oh no, we got it. Just in
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was right there with you.
I was like, oh gosh.
So my shoulder's a little bit sore because I'm kind of trying to get you guys to like I can feel you guys want to push it, right? Dee da 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 dee da da da. That's an exaggeration. You want to push it. Just relax. Enjoy every single note. Right?
All right, everybody playing alto. Let's go over the alto line.
Same goes for this part. Okay. Alto / treble. 1 and 2 and.
High D sharp.
It was all fine until the D,
D
sharp,
sharp.
right? It's like, wait, where is it?
Yeah, and sometimes you need that extra little bit
The
of
extra
pinky.
yeah.
Yeah. It depends on the instrument, of course. Yeah, to get that pitch down. All right, who's ever playing tenor? Tenor's up next.
The dog accompaniment.
With a dog accompaniment and a chicken.
Picking it.
A
Okay.
chicken at a cabbage.
All right, so here we go. Tenor. One, two, resurrection.
I think the 16th notes are just too tempting.
Ah,
They're too much fun.
that's where the magic is, though.
Is anybody wanting to try bass?
Yes. Three basses. Let's do it.
Come on, Emily. Join us.
Before we get it apart.
I'll read along.
Oh, for all our viewers at home, we're still accepting donations to our secret Cayman Islands Great Bass Fund, where we're all going to buy Petzold great basses for the group.
Right?
Secretly, of course.
You hear that, Google?
Right.
You should go on something like a sportsman's magazine, like a fly fishing thing. Like, yeah, we're planning a great bass adventure. Bass adventure.
Give money
Bass,
to the
yeah,
Great
bass.
Bass Adventure.
Good work. Okay, bass, triple bass. Here we go.
Quadruple.
Quadruple? Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. There we go. Can you handle it? You're all right. One and two and.
All right, listen, always make sure your bass keys are lined up with your pinky before you play. All right, who wants to play what part? We're gonna play it one more time together.
Pick part anymore.
Pick a part, any part. Bass. You gonna stay in bass? What we got? All right. Well, alto, huh?
Okay, so make sure we got parts covered. Soprano. Okay. Alto. Okay, tenor.
It is a really pretty bass though.
All right, here we go. Tippy top. 1, 2.
I can never play it when the sun.
Very nice.
All right. So I'm going to be stopping the recording. Thank you for joining us for our first meeting of our 2021-22 season. And we'll be back on the first Sunday of October with another exciting program. All right. I'm going to stop the recording. How do I end the recording? Stop recording. There we go.